Alright, I've got some paste waxes here from Turtle Wax to test out today. I've got the super hard shell formula going up against the ice paste wax. I'm just going to give a basic overview of each product and put them through the water test. And I'll tell you some of the things that I like and some of the things that I dislike. And I'll just compare each one to one another so that you have a better perspective of which one might be the better choice for you to buy. So looking at this super hard shell paste wax, you can see right away it's got the new logo on it. It says easier on, off, shine, and protection. So this is their latest formula for this specific wax. And it's got a new label too, or product line, Performance Plus. And I'm not sure if that's a new product line altogether, but here's the directions on the back for this wax. You know, pretty basic directions. Apply on a cool surface. Make sure it's clean and dry and not in the sun. And then you can see as well, it says to apply a small amount of product onto a damp applicator pad. And this actually comes with the applicator pad, you know, inside of this cover right here. So what you can do is you can rinse this pad down with water and then wring it all the way out, and there you'll have that damp applicator pad to be able to apply the product. Well, let's take a look inside here, and you can see just sort of the texture of the wax in here. It's a very soft paste wax. And this is a lot different than many paste waxes that you can get over the counter. They're usually a lot harder. And since this is very soft, it's a lot easier to over apply it to the applicator pad. Let me show you how I do it. I fold the pad up and then I just dab a little bit of product onto the pad, and then I fold it up so that I can get, you know, a more even amount of wax through the center of the pad. Just like this. So it does not take a lot of wax to be able to get enough on your pad to where you can cover a large area. And that's one of the biggest mistakes with this specific wax, is over applying it, because it hardens fast and then you're left trying to buff out all that excess wax residue, and only a very small amount actually bonds to your clear coat. So definitely put it on pretty thin. So here's the ice paste wax, and I've already done a little testing on this one. If you've seen my videos before, you've seen me put it up against the Meguiar's Ultimate Paste Wax, but let me show you this wax in a little bit more depth and show you the back directions here. This is a lot different than their super hard shell paste formula. So this is a wax that you can use in the full sunlight. You can use it on trim and it's not going to stain your trim. So the same sort of directions though as the super hard shell paste. You know, moisten the applicator pad with a little bit of water, and I would wring it out so that it's damp when you apply it. And it only takes a couple minutes for this wax to dry before it's ready to be removed with a microfiber towel. And you can see the Smart Shield technology logo that's going to be on all their 2015 ice products. And I think they're also going to come out with a new bottle for ice liquid wax, but I did not see that at the store when I went there to pick this wax up. And here you can see the weight of the wax here. You got 8 ounces compared to the super hard shell, which is 14. But 8 ounces is pretty typical. You get an applicator pad as well, but you don't get a microfiber towel for this specific paste wax. And taking a look inside, you can see the consistency of the product here. It's much harder compared to the super hard shell. And I actually prefer that harder paste wax because it's a lot easier to just get an even coat on the entire applicator pad. As you can see here with the super hard shell, very, very soft. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually apply these products to the paint off camera, and then I'll come back tomorrow and we'll perform the water test and see how they hold up. Alright guys, so I applied these products yesterday onto the paint. It's been 24 hours. So they've had a full 24-hour period to cure onto the paint. Let's go ahead and see how they hold up. I've got the super hard shell paste wax on the right side of the hood facing the car and the right side fender. And then on the left side over here, I've got the ice paste wax. And I prepped the car the same way as in all my other tests. I used Meguiar's M205 polish, and then I wiped it down with some isopropyl alcohol afterwards. So let's see how these two products do with the water test. So I've already tested ice paste wax, and I want to see if my results for this test are going to be consistent. And I'll compare that with the older video that I did. So here's ice paste wax, and you can see the sheet has literally no ability to really form flat across the paint panel. And this is definitely a beading style wax, where the water is being contracted up too fast for it to really form that flatter sheet. And here it is on the side of the fender. the beads, they just literally fall right off the panel. So very high surface tension, very hydrophobic. And it looks like it's behaving pretty much exactly the same as my other test, so I think that's good that I'm getting consistent results. So I'll go ahead and I'll head over to the super hard shell paste side, see how it does. Yeah, you can definitely tell that it's going a little bit flat when the water hits it. The sheet falls off fast though, so it's a higher surface tension, but not quite as high as the ice paste wax. Let's check the fender here. Definitely not bad at all as far as repellency goes. Now with these two products here, this is when they're behaving at their highest form of repellency after this 24-hour period. But where these two products differ is with their surface tension durability. Now I've already tested this specific super hard shell paste wax formula, and we got rain during the cure period. We got heavy rain, so I scrapped that test. But when I came out and did the water test before I stripped them and reapplied them, the super hard shell paste wax was going completely flat. So its surface tension properties are not durable in the short term at all. Whereas with the ice paste wax, this is a wax that definitely has more durable surface tension properties. So it'll bead like this for a much longer period compared to the super hard shell paste wax. So they're both beading up well, and they're both sheeting water off extremely fast right now in just the beginning. But again, the super hard shell is just not gonna, that beading is not gonna last. It's gonna fall into a much slower sheet. So guys are gonna start to wonder, how durable the actual protection is in this wax. And actual protection is not something that I can test. I don't have, the level of instruments to where I can see at a microscopic level a layer of wax, whether or not it's still on the paint or not. But what I can test, if you have a preference for a sheeting based wax, I can show you which waxes do that. If you have a preference for a beading one, I can show you which ones do that as well in the short term. So super hard shell paste wax, it wins on price. I got this wax for just under $4. So it's gonna stain trim if you get it on your black trim. It's very easy to overapply it, and when you overapply it, it's hard to buff off. And you get to the point to where if you're running into these hard to use paste waxes, you're better off with just going with the spray wax product, which are much easier to use, which can go on trim just fine. And if you have a super soft paste wax like this, you've got to have it be a product that can go on easy and come off really easy, and something that you can let sit on the paint for a lot longer before it has to be buffed off. And super hard shell paste is just not that kind of wax. It's a lot harder to use and a lot less user friendly. So I would recommend ice paste wax. It's right around $13, so still a low price, but you can use it on trim. You can over apply it. It's not going to be as difficult to remove. It's not the smoothest wax to put on and take off. I really think Meguiar's wins in that category, where their waxes are a lot more user friendly and smoother. But ice paste wax definitely has a crazy level of water beading, at least in the short term, if you really like that sort of thing. I haven't tested long-term durability yet. I did test the 2-week durability with ice liquid wax, so check out that video if you haven't seen it. But hopefully you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching.